Hello everyone, it's Richard Lewis here again with another video. Today a very serious topic and a tragic case revolving around that serious topic. Today I'm going to be talking about swatting. For those that don't know what that is where people, for whatever reason, I can't really fathom it, decide to place prank calls to police and authorities, claiming that there's been a hostage situation or a dangerous situation that needs to be neutralized for the benefit of the public, typically to an address of somebody they don't like or somebody they've doxed or a high-profile celebrity. And the police then go and raid the building, believing that, of course, there's a dangerous situation that needs to be neutralized. Well, what happened the other day is, due to an incident of swatting, an innocent man was killed as we head into the new year, and somebody who had nothing to do with gaming culture, and leaves behind two children. Just awful. I'm a little bit tired. I stayed up late last night because I was trying to dig into this. I wanted to find all the people involved and get their names, just in case, for whatever reason, the investigation wasn't able to do that. Fortunately, as you'll see, we've already got somebody arrested. But let's just start with sort of a broad overview about swatting. I've been writing and covering swatting since 2013. That was when it sort of first became clear to me that this was going to be a very dangerous trend that was being set. And you know, you can see here, this is when I used to write over at the Daily Dot, and this is August 2014. Not the first time I'd covered a swatting incident. I actually met Phantom Lord before I started covering other things he was involved in, due to him being swatted at the back end of 2013. And this article is pretty much a summary of all the people who've been swatted. It mentions, you know, Phantom Lord. It mentions Nothing. That's Jordan Gilbert, the Counter-Strike player, who's also been swatted. You can see it's got some, we'll just close that out, it's got some speedrunner in there, I believe called Caleb Hart, who got swatted on stream. And it's something that's been going on for a while, and it's got to be said, the clampdown never really came. I always thought there was going to be some moment that would trigger. Every time it happened again, I thought, okay, politicians are going to start talking about this now. We're going to get some specific laws around this now. We're going to get some training for police around this now. It just never happened. It just never came. And everybody could see, I think if you had any degree of insight, and you could see where this was going to go. Somebody was going to get hurt. Somebody was going to get killed. And that's what's happened now. So to this specific case, let me tell you, I couldn't be more disgusted about the trivial nature from which this arose, to see somebody lose their life. Two players basically called Vaporize or Vaporizer and Miracle, aka Talent with a 7. Basically what happened was they were playing a game of Call of Duty which had a bet on it, a wager of a very small amount, $1.50. And this was through the gaming service UMG. I can show you the link to the match for what it's worth. It doesn't really add anything to the story, but it's just to, I guess, show you in plain sight just what it was. You can see here, it was a $1.50 cash game. And anyway, what happened was that after the game, two of the players, the Vaporizer and Miracle, started arguing. And basically, the guy Vaporizer decided to get the address. Well, rather, he contacted a well-known swatter who's been operating under the name Swartistic. There's a play on words of autistic. And said, hey, you know, like, you should go and DM this guy. And then Miracle, to try and appear, sorry, you should swat this guy. And then Miracle, to try and appear tough and unfazed by the threat of being swatted, DM'd an address that was close to his own, but wasn't his address. And the swatter acted upon it and called the authorities and said there was a murder and hostage situation at the address that was linked, that was sent to him via Twitter. Now I can show you the screenshot of that message here, and you can see the address, which of course tallies up with, unfortunately, what we now know. So here it is, and you can see there. Please try some shit. I'll be waiting. 1033 West McCormick Street, Wichita, Kansas 67217. I'll have you in prison for 5 years, buddy. Casey already gave me all the proof I need. Hello, pussy bitch. Say something. So this person that they reached out to, it's not as if the people that sort of engaged the services of the swatter, it isn't as if they didn't know he was somebody who wouldn't act upon it. He'd acted upon it and claimed responsibility for numerous bomb threats, including what had happened at the Call of Duty World League over in Dallas. This was somebody that was very credible, that for good or ill, he would do it. And he went on Twitter and tweeted and said, "Hey everybody, it was me who did the bomb threat at the CWL Dallas Open." Which was a $200,000 tournament. It was, and he called in a bomb threat there, which actually interrupted the whole tournament. So the idea that, we couldn't have possibly known is utter bullshit, because obviously this person does this kind of thing for fun. And as you're going to see, actually has previous for doing this. This person should never have been in a position to be calling in these bomb threats or swatting people. Anyway, in my opinion, I'm amazed that he wasn't already in prison. So, anyway, the situation happened where that address that you've seen was given. And here it is. You can see that, as reported in the Daily News, this gives you an outline of what happened. So, an alleged serial prankster from California was arrested over a fake 911 call that resulted in police fatally shooting an unarmed Kansas man earlier this week, and the death is of somebody called Andrew Finch. He basically answered the door. He was at that address that you saw there, wasn't aware he was being swatted, didn't have any cause to think he would be swatted, doesn't play online games. And as soon as he opened the door, because he was aware of a police presence, the police officer, or one of the deployed SWAT team snipers or marksmen, shot him in the head, and it was a fatal shooting. Now, one thing I guess to add to this, for what it's worth, I definitely think the police officer in this instance has been trigger happy, on high alert, sure, but you've got to ascertain if somebody's a threat or not before you use lethal force. I don't know what will happen here. As with all police shootings, the police officer that fired the bullet has been placed on administrative leave. I think this is part of a broader issue, a broader problem within American society, where police officers are not showing the requisite levels of restraint. They have the lethal force capability and the armaments of somebody in the military, but with none of the discipline. And anybody that's done tours of Kabul and Basra or anywhere else where people have been stationed during Iraq and Afghanistan, they'll tell you that if a soldier administered force in this manner, they would be court-martialed. They would be prosecuted, because you've got, if it comes back that somebody was innocent or unarmed or not a threat, you've broken, the law. So anyway, that's a completely side issue and nothing really to talk about here. So as you can see here on the report in question, the person has been named as Tyler Barris. They're saying he's 25 years old. Here's a picture of him from a previous arrest, which I'll tell you about in a second. And keep that name in mind, because what happened in the immediate aftermath of it being clear that somebody had been killed as a result of this SWAT incident, and it was being out there in the public domain, the first thing that happened was the two players that had placed the wager, given the address, and effectively called upon the SWAtter to SWAT somebody. They went dark, they deactivated their Twitter accounts. Then we had the SWATistic Twitter account tweeting about it. That was subsequently deactivated. We've now got another Twitter account pretending to be Tyler, but on that, you can still get the SWATistic account. It's cached, right? And on that is several admissions that, you know, he called in the SWAT, that, you know, as far as he was concerned, he wasn't to blame. I mean, that's mind-blowing to me. That's his take on it. But what's also incredibly incriminating is there's a screenshot I can show you of the archived Twitter account, and on it, it says quite plainly that the name of the person who uses the account is called Tyler. So hasn't particularly done a great job of covering his tracks, which is good news, I suppose. You can see there right at the top, it says this is Tyler's girlfriend here. And there's also a picture of him, which does look suspiciously like the fella who had the mugshot in that previous report. So as I said, I wanted to get all of the names of everybody involved. I certainly hope that the other two people involved have the common sense to come forward and hand themselves in. You're not going to be able to wriggle out of this one. You're definitely involved. You're definitely an accessory to somebody's death, and you need to do the smart thing and come forward and you know, take responsibility for your actions. The ridiculous, childish, pathetic actions that's led to somebody's death. You're going to have to just own that. But this is where it kind of gets a little bit crazier. I mean, so Keemstar did good work and was able to get in touch with the SWAtter and interview him on Drama Alert. The SWAtter actually spoke to Keemstar from a public Starbucks Wi-Fi, was talking to Keem, and didn't sound remorseful at all in the interview. I'll link to the interview in the description of this video. Basically seems to maintain that it isn't his fault, which is just unbelievable. I also got linked to an account that supposedly is his new one now that he has shut down the SWATistic account. It was actually suspended by Twitter. I should make that clear. Actually, it was reported and suspended. Twitter will be subpoenaed and compelled to cooperate with a investigation. But yeah, you can see here, this is the account that he's now seemingly using. I mean, I can't verify this one way or the other, but you can see here, lots of strange things said here. So, you know, cops and FBI downstairs at my apartment. This is obviously, I'm about to go to jail. This is relating to something that, from the, I imagine, from the Dallas incident. And there it is. This is where he starts talking about the swatting incident, saying, how about I get the death sentence for not killing someone? Honestly, think about how stupid some of you are. Will me serving any time justify someone dying? Okay, thank you. I didn't do shit, but if you really think I did, then I shall just get the death sentence, in my opinion. Literally put it out in plain text, and it's still going over people's heads. Some of you are so fucking stupid and simple-minded. Hypothetically speaking, let's just say I kill myself right now for the purpose of getting this through you guys' heads. Will justice have been served? Will the family stop mourning? Or do you then just begin to hate the cop for killing him, which is what some Facebook users are doing? Now, well, I don't know if this is actually his account, if this is some sort of late play for an insanity defense or something. It clearly seems to be very disturbed, and why would you put this up there? The bottom, it only further incriminates you if it is your account, and he certainly is still taking ownership for the swatting. He's even kind of implying there that you know, he shouldn't do jail time. He said in the Keemstar interview that he thinks he should do jail time, but not life. This guy's a serial menace, by the way. This guy isn't just somebody that calls in the odd bomb threat, isn't a teenage, isn't somebody that doesn't know better, isn't somebody that would be treated or should be treated as a minor in the eyes of the law. This is an adult man that has repeatedly swatted people, laughed about it, mocked people about it, threatened to do it to others, called in repeated bomb threats, and actually has been arrested previously, and I'm amazed wasn't in jail, because he was actually looking at 4 years in prison at one point, which you can see here. When we started to find the name, and we started Googling old, reports and looking at arrest records, here's something from October 2015, where the Glendale Police Department arrested a man after he made 2 bomb threats. Tyler Raj Barris, 22, was arrested on Tuesday at his Chatsworth home of his grandmother, whom apparently he lives with, in connection with 2 bomb threats phoned in to the ABC 7 Eyewitness News studio. So he wasn't even just doing it within gaming, he was doing it within just anything to cause a nuisance. He was released on $1 million bail and was looking at 4 years inside, which obviously he didn't get. So this guy is just a fucking, he's a piece of shit. There's no getting around this. He's a menace and has been for a while, and I'm amazed he was ever on the streets and in a position to be doing this. I'm amazed that he wasn't found quicker. I was amazed he wasn't identified quicker, perhaps after the Dallas situation, given that bomb threats were his MO and something that he'd done before. It just looks like a series of failures all round, errors of judgment all round. And it's led to the death of a completely innocent person, and it's just harrowing and horrible. Now, look, there's no point of me editorializing. I think, I think we can all agree this has got to be it now. We need to start cracking down on this. We need to start punishing people very severely for swatting, and we need to get some very clear laws in place. There needs to be a discussion, a national discussion, about what happens to the people that do this, what consequences should there be, and how severe it needs to be to try and stop it. And we also need to start telling police officers that this is a possibility. You can't just assume that, if some wacky kid calls you and says, oh, there's a hostage, you need to err on the side of caution, but you have to understand that there are a group of sick individuals that do this for entertainment, and you have got to be aware of that. So, just awful. I want to end the video just sort of talking about, obviously, the family of Andrew Finch. And I'm going to monetize this video, but I am going to give any money this video generates, which I have no idea what that'll be due to the YouTube algorithm. But any money we get off this video, we're going to put towards this GoFundMe for the Finch family. So you can see here, and I'll link it in the description as well. This is the GoFundMe for the funeral expenses, of a loving father and an innocent man who has been taken from this world because of stupid children not realizing the consequences of their severe actions. And 28 years old, 2 kids, and shot and killed. I just couldn't be more disgusted and saddened by it all. So there you have it. I just wanted to put this out there to raise awareness of the GoFundMe, awareness of what had happened. Obviously, if you've got any information, there's a number which I'll also put in the description. You can call the police hotline. But let's also sort of moving forward, let's start seriously thinking about how we're going to put a stop to this, how we're going to stop swatting in future, how we're going to educate police officers about swatting. And if you've ever thought about it as a prank, take stock of the very dire consequences that can have, and just grow the fuck up. So anyway, there you go. Thanks a lot for watching.